Hello, Habibi here. Today in this video I'm going to share a tutorial with you about how to list all the users information in our database here in Unity. So I have Unity program. I'm going to make a Unity program. Here in Unity program I will list all the users data from my database. Here on my PHP admin I have this database new DB. This is my database and I have one table here, users, and I have some users here, Harry, name, phone number. First thing to do is to create a server-side program. I'm using PHP, so I will create index.php file. I will edit it and I will type something like echo hello world. Make sure our server is running. I'm using local server, I'm using XAMPP, and Apache and MySQL are running, so I can run this PHP program by going to localhost. I will replace this part to localhost. Here I have this text from my PHP program. Let me list all the users here on my web browser. So what I'm going to do here is to create a PHP variable. I call it connection. Connection is MySQL connect, and it will take some parameters. First thing is the host and username, password, and the database. Okay, for the host, because it is on localhost, so I type localhost. Username, by default it is root and it has no password, so it is empty string like this. And database name, the database name is new DB, so here I type new DB. Then here I will create another variable which is SQL. This will be our SQL string command. I type select asterisk from the table name. The table name I have here is users, so I type select asterisk from users, order by ID dash, and then I create another variable. I call it result. Result is MySQL query connection, and the second parameter is the SQL query itself. Then I check if the result is true. If we got the result, do we got the result? So here I will check if result is true, means we have the result. Then do this, list the users, and else just echo a text error. Okay, now here I'm going to make a while loop. While variable row equals, or row is MySQL fetch ASOC result, and then here I can echo each one of the user information. Echo name and row name, and then phone number, row, phone. Let me check my database again. Phone and name. Okay, then I will add a br tag here to make it to make the next user information below the previous line. Then I'm ready to refresh the page. Let me click the refresh reload page. Now I have 4 results: Peter, phone number, Andy, Habibi, Harry. So this is what we got if we access this PHP program from web browser. Now the problem here is how to access this PHP program from our Unity game. So let's go to, let me search for Unity web request. Okay, here is the documentation of the Unity web request. Let's open it. Just let's jump into this Unity web request.get. Here we can see an example. First, we need to create an IEnumerator get request function, and then we call it on the start. So I will copy this part, copy, and I will paste it here. No. Okay, so here I'm going to create a new script in our Unity editor. I will call the script get user information. Then double click to edit the script. Then I paste it here below the void update. Because we are using networking feature of Unity, don't forget to add this line: using Unity engine networking, like this. And then we call this function coroutine function. We call it this way: start coroutine get request. So let me copy this first, second one. It has no difference. We will just replace the URL, copy it and paste it here, on the start. And then we will replace this HTML URL. We will replace it with this one, copy and paste it here. So if you are running your PHP program on a real web server and real domain, so you just need to place the URL here. And let me check. Let's just run it on, let's just run the Unity. Here, click the play button here and get ready to see the result in this console. Okay, hang on, I did not add the script to the any game object on our Unity scene. So let me check my canvas here. I have a missing script. Let me remove it first. Okay, let me check. Okay, here I'm going to create an an empty game object. I call it get user information and attach this script to this game object. Now run it again. We got the response like this. The response that Unity received is this text: name, Peter, phone number, BR, name. We got the response. So far everything goes well. And the next thing that they need to do is to edit how the PHP program should display the result. Here instead of BR tag here, I need to type something like this symbol, asterisk symbol, and I will use it as a separator. And then I don't need this part name, and I replace this part with a comma. And let me go back to my web browser and check the result. So I have a response text like this: Peter, comma, and this number as phone number, and this is a separator. We got Andy. You know, this method is a workaround method. There is another better method using JSON. So the better way of doing it is to echo the JSON text from our PHP program, and then here Unity program should parse that JSON text and process the response. So because it is simple tutorial, I'm not going to use JSON. Instead, I'm going to use raw text as a response, and then we process that raw response text here in Unity. So if I run this Unity program again, I click it, you will get this raw text. Now it is time to process this response tag here inside our Unity. Go back to our Unity script, get user information script, go here, web request.downloadHandler.text is a response from the web server. So here I'm going to comment this part, and here we will do our work. Here I'm going to create a variable string raw response. Raw response is this web request.downloadHandler.text, and then we need to break down this raw response. We have this asterisk symbol as a separator between each of user information. So we need to split the response text by that symbol. So here I will create a new array string variable. I call it users equals to raw response dot split, and here we type the symbol, separator symbol that we used. Now we have this string array variable. We need to loop between each of the array member of this variable. So here I will create a for loop for integer I equals to 0 equals integer I 0, I less than users dot length, and I plus plus. Then for each iteration we will debug the value of array member of users. So here I type debug.log current data plus users with the index of I, and let's go back to our Unity program and try to run it. As you can see here, we got this 1, 2, 3 and 4 results: Peter, Andy, Habibi and Harry. Now it's time to split again each time we do this for loop. So here, for each time we got the information of single user, we will do as splitting again. String user info, this should be string array, string array, user info, users index I dot split. This time the separator is the comma. Now we can debug the better information like this. So here I will type name users I and plus phone number don't forget to add the index. This is wrong. User info, it should be user info. The first part, when we split the text by comma, the first part is the name and the second part is the phone number. So the second part index is 1, like this. And if we rerun the Unity game, we will get better information. Okay, we got an error. Alright, we got an error because we have empty result here. You can see this last asterisk symbols. The last part here should if there is a result, then there is no problem, because we have no result after this asterisk symbols. We got this problem. Index was outside the bounds of the array. To avoid this problem, we need to check the value of users I. Here we need to do an if statement. If users not empty string, then we do these lines. Okay, let me run it again. Okay, we got here name Peter, phone number this one, name Andy, phone number that, and so on. Okay, the next thing is how to bring those information here on our Unity user interface. So I will create a Unity canvas. I have canvas already here. I have a Unity canvas here. Then I will need a scroll view element. So here I will add scroll view, and let me change the size of this scroll view. This scroll view works as a container of our user information. Inside this scroll view, there is a viewport and there is a content object. Here I will add an empty game object an empty game object. I will call it user info, and I will arrange the position of this game object this way. Then I will add some image, background image. I make it this color. Let's say we use this blue color, and inside the user info I will add a two text element, text game object. The text alignment should be this way, and the second one will be here, and I rename it to name, and this one phone number. Let's change the appearance of the text. I will set it as bold, then the color will be blue, white, and let me just increase a bit the size, maybe 16. Okay, then let me resize it this way. Okay, then this user info game object, for this user info game object we will need another script. So I will create a script. I call it user info. Then I attach this script to this user info game object this way, and let's edit the script. Here I will add two public variable, public string, no, public text user name, and the second one user phone. And don't forget to use Unity engine.ui. And then and then we go back to our Unity and we click this user info game object. Now we set the reference of this username. We drag and drop this name object here as username, and this one as phone number, user phone. Okay, then we need to drag and drop it here as to make it a prefab. We need to add two components here on this content game object. First thing is content size filter, set it to preferred size, and also the vertical layout group, and check these options. Then here we need to resize this, our user info prefab here. Let's resize the width like this, and let's try test to duplicate this user info object several times. So when we run the loop here, inside this for loop, we need to instantiate this prefab here inside this content. Delete that one on the scene, and we need to edit this get user info. We need to create a public game object variable, game object user info container. User info container will be this content game object. I click this get user information object, then I will drag and drop this content game object here. Okay, then go back to our script. Here we are going to, oh yeah, I forgot to add another public game object, user info template. This one will be our prefab, this user info. Drag and drop it here. Now here inside this for loop, the second this for loop, we need to instantiate that prefab. We make a game object variable, game object user info. User info is game object instantiate. What to instantiate? We need to instantiate this user info template. We already have this user info variable, so don't use that name. Instead I will type GOBG like this. Game object instantiate that one, and then we need to set the parent of this game object, GOBG dot parent the transform dot set parent what was the parent in user info container dot transform. Then we go back to our Unity and test it. We got how many users here? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the next thing is to put the information of name and number here inside this text. Here I will type gobg.get component user info. Remember, we have this user info script attached to that prefab, so we need to access that script, and we will change the value of user name. We set its text value to be this user info 0, and then the second information we need to place is this one, user phone dot text will be user info with this index number 1. Okay, let's test it. Here we go. We have Peter, Andy, Habibi, and Harry. Alright, that's all guys. How to retrieve an information from MySQL database here in Unity. You need to adjust the layout yourself. So that's all for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. See you next time on my next videos. Bye bye.